Now, welcome to another edition of News from Naboo with Thor's Lightning Takes. And let's get right to the news.
Okay, today's news is going to be a little different. It's going to be all leaks for the upcoming shows The Acolyte, as well as Tales of the Jedi. This may not be the news story for you if you do not want those things ruined for you, as these leaks could be very credible. I mean, some of the stuff was copyright claimed and banned by Disney, some videos or images that had gotten out, which kind of leads some credibility to some of the claims, especially those for Tales of the Jedi. Apparently, it sounds like some of the watermarked images were marked that they were the overseas editions that they must have been doing subtitling for or such, which might explain why they got leaked/ripped off. But like I said, these are all leaks and rumors. If you don't want anything spoiled for the two shows,
I will say that the leaks for the Acolyte are more of the premise of the show,
yes.
It seems. So I don't know. I mean, they're probably going to be things you would see in episode 1, things that'll be part of the marketing material that'll kind of let you know what the series is about. So definitely, if you're kind of interested in what the Acolyte is, maybe, I don't know that you're going to be too upset about anything that is leaked.
Right.
If you're very excited about Tales of the Jedi and don't want anything spoiled, I would definitely skip that section. So I think we're starting with the Acolyte then, right?
Right. All right. So we'll start out with code names for a few of the main characters that we're at least going to see at the beginning of the show. Codename Aura is our lead. Paul is our Sith Lord. It says
Paul the Sith
Paul
Lord.
the Sith Lord. Only season 1, and then he's going to die apparently.
I shall call you Darth Paul.
We have Theo, who is the grandfather, special guest, going to be so maybe a little more star-studded. 2 episodes, looking for an established actor of color, 60s to 70s.
Probably
because
our main character grandfather.
Yes.
Yeah.
Supposed to be the grandfather of Aura. And Miri, who is the little sister. There's also a character named Pen. It's a best friend character, CGI male alien.
Ooh, aliens. It's Jar Jar.
He'll probably die too, don't worry about it.
Probably.
Alright, let's move into the plot details for the first couple episodes, the premise of what's going on with the show. Aura and Miri's village is attacked by raiders regularly. They live with their grandfather, Theo. The attackers are primitive, tribal, it says not totally sentient, alien. So it's like barbarian-y, I guess. Okay. I mean, they're still probably sentient, they're just probably not very smart.
Not fully sentient, they're kind of stupid.
Fully sentient. Jedi come to protect them in exchange for taking a few kids to train.
Mm-hmm. Already not liking that, but do continue. Or am I supposed to comment on that? Because
you can comment on that. I mean, it could be whoever's doing this leak is wording it bad. It might not be in exchange for. It might be we're protecting you, and we found 4 sensitive children here.
That sounds horrible. That makes
I'm
so tired of making the Jedi sound like they kidnap children and they're like making back alley deals for them and stuff. Like
I think whoever wrote the leak probably wrote it poorly.
Look, Jedi. If you don't know, the Jedi do not just show up one day, knock on your door, and say, "We need your kids because we're going to turn them in the Jedi." They ask, and if the parents say no, that's it. It's over. They wouldn't. And maybe this is supposed to show that they're kind of losing their ways. These are like prequel Jedi era, right? So let's set them up to be the big baddies or whatever they want to do. Even though I don't think the Jedi of the prequels are bad as much as they are just kind of lost sight of how they, lost sight of a few things, like just following the will of the Force. But not to get into that.
They're probably rewording it more as a way to help protect these children that are Force sensitive.
It sounds like Hunger Games or something, right?
Yeah,
we're gonna take a couple of your kids and we're gonna put them in. I don't know. I hope it is poorly worded because if not, it just again kind of paints the Jedi of these like aloof, careless individuals that just swoop in the night and take your kids and train them to be warrior monks who never experienced anything but no attachments and horrible. It gets sickening because that's not what the Jedi way is supposed to be at all.
I mean, you've got to take all this with a grain of salt. I mean, they're up on Twitter, which is limited by characters and, all that stuff too. So who knows? Aura, the older sister, is deemed too young, but her younger sister, Miri, is taken by the Jedi. Most likely they asked the grandfather, and they took her to get her off planet, give her a better life, not constantly being in danger when these raiders come. Whatever.
That sounds fine.
By the end of episode 2, the raiders destroy the town and the Jedi come too late.
Of course they do.
Yes. Theo, Aura and Miri's grandfather, dies. Aura wants to be taken to her sister, but the Jedi don't let her. So somehow, Palpatine has returned. No. So somehow, she's going to end up joining a bunch of dark side acolytes to train because she wants to go and get her sister back.
Okay.
Or become strong enough to join the Jedi. One of the two. It's not very clear.
It's not the best route to become a Jedi, but okay.
No, she wants to train and, be with her sister. Get her sister back. One of those two things. Who knows? Penn, this is where Penn, the best friend character, comes in. He is listed as a political and mystical. Aura, on the other hand, is a strong fighter and duelist. So among the acolytes, they struggle on their own, but when they work together, they beat out everybody else.
Oh, the rule of two together. I see.
Miri being taken is the reason Aura wants to win the acolyte position.
So she's taken. See, they're making it sound like this is... like she's forcibly taken, and that's not kind of a...
Well, you could say...
Because the grandfather died.
Hey, where's my granddaughter? Well, she was taken to the amusement park.
I mean... well, I mean...
I'm just saying, taken is just... they're using that word, but who knows?
Does the grandfather die, and then the Jedi come back and like, well, I guess the deal, he said we couldn't take him, but now we're going to take him, or...
No, Mira supposedly
we don't want that one. That one's too old.
Before then.
Okay.
Before the grandfather dies.
So she's just mad that the Jedi failed to show up and protect them, even though they took
payment, the Jedi came and they protected them originally and said, hey, we're gonna take some of these children as well. They're force sensitive, possibly getting permission from the adults. We don't know the details exactly. But by the end of episode 2, the Raiders have come again and managed to destroy the village before the Jedi come to protect them. That's when the grandfather dies and Aura goes, oh, well, I want my family. Her family's gone now, so she wants to be taken to where they took her sister.
Okay.
So that's why they said no. She's joined up now with these acolytes, who apparently also do missions to pick each other off, and the last one standing is going to become the Sith apprentice.
So these are like sanctioned, quote-unquote, acolytes, sanctioned by
a
who
Sith.
At this time?
Probably a Sith.
Plagueis? Tenebris?
Who supposedly dies by the end of season 1.
Okay.
Paul. Paul the Sith Lord.
Oh, yes, I forgot about Paul the Sith.
Paul the Sith Lord decided to round up a bunch of Force sensitives the Jedi didn't want, who have bones to pick, and he's letting them kill each other until he can get an apprentice out of this.
Okay.
It sounds a Sith thingy to do.
I'm not saying it doesn't sound a Sith thing. I don't know.
It's very similar to what Palpatine did.
Not really.
With Darth Maul.
He didn't round up a bunch of people to have a tournament.
Yeah, kinda.
But not
it's in the a storybook that came out that was exclusive to the Disney parks.
Yeah, but I'm saying he didn't send them on missions together to pick each other off and to
No,
find out which one
he
is the strongest.
instead put them all in an arena, and
Sure.
Darth Maul showed up and murdered everybody. So.
Yeah, a one-time big brawl, sure. A battle royal who last man standing, okay. That I guess I could see that, but the idea that they're having this...
Yes.
I don't know. I don't want to...
It could again be the wording of Twitter. I mean, the acolytes do missions to pick each other off. It might be the acolytes do missions and on them pick each other off.
I'm not saying I hate the idea. There's a lot that could work here, and it sounds good, and I just wonder how it's, you're trying to describe something in a few sentences that's going to be a few episodes. So, when it's on screen, when you get to watch it, it might be a whole different ballgame. But I understand it, because if you're going to do a show about the Sith, somebody becoming an acolyte or a Sith or wannabe Sith, yes, you do have to paint the Jedi in a sort of negative way. They have to be given a reason to hate the Jedi, essentially. So I get that. I don't want another the Jedi they were just dumb and, they were aloof and they don't care about the galaxy, actually, and they just screwed over this planet and took some kids. I'm kind of, like I said, I'm just tired of always the Jedi being kind of painted with the negative brush when that's, I don't know, that's not what I want to see the Jedi always painted as, because there's so many people out there that the Jedi are the ones actually in the wrong. The Jedi are the fault for everything.
But that doesn't make the Sith in the right.
Yeah, that's a good point. But I mean, that's not exactly what the story is even meant to be. That's not what, I don't know. This could be a fun ramble topic, and I know this video is already gone long, so I'll kind of...
Yeah, write it down.
I'll shut myself off right here.
All right, so let's move on to the leaks for the Tales of the Jedi. In that first episode, I know it's one that was premiered.
So click away if you don't want these ones. Yeah.
They were already told that.
I know. I'm giving them a little buffer here so they can get to the click away button. All right, carry on.
In the first episode that was actually premiered at Celebration, we know that Ahsoka's born. Her mom takes her out hunting. She gets kidnapped apparently by a huge bear. Uses the Force to influence it and rides it home. It's supposed to be a very funny scene, which is now ruined for everybody.
Oh. Yeah, including me. I didn't know that. All right.
It ends with the Elder saying, Ahsoka is Jedi, like in the trailer that we don't get to see yet.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. There's also going to be, within the series, some sort of a recreation of Padme's funeral. And we can see that Ahsoka was there.
Interesting.
There's going to be a recreation of Qui-Gon's funeral as well, where Ki-Adi-Mundi is going to give a speech.
Oh. All right.
So nice and vague. We're going to see Ahsoka training in the temple, as well as a young Kanan at the temple somewhere, I guess. Because it says, I don't know. We're going to see her get her second saber. There's also going to be another Order 66 scene.
Cool. I guess, there's
yeah.
never too much Order 66.
What's weird, because we know Ahsoka's not at the temple for Order 66.
No, we know exactly where she is for that, yeah.
Whatever. Moving on. So, from the Ahsoka novel, we do know that the character Kanan is kind of sidelined. They're destroying more of the Ahsoka book that Dave Filoni has now officially decided is not canon, for the most part. So that character, she's not even, named in the show. She just looks like she was described in the books. And Ahsoka's going to save a truck from falling on her head, and that's how she finds out Ahsoka has powers. Okay.
A truck, huh?
Yep. A truck. See, this is where I get confused as to the order of events about what happens, because it conflicts with the novel in a way that makes me wonder which happens first. One separate little tweet's like, we open to a scene with Bail speaking to Ahsoka on Naboo right after Season 7. We see the title, then the rest of the episode is set on Rada. Okay, so I'm wondering, I'm thinking that comes after what I'm about to talk about. Ahsoka's hiding on a farm there, because obviously she's on the run after the end of Season 7.
Yeah.
She's hiding out. We know she buried her sabers and all that. But she's hiding out in a farm, but is kind of betrayed or sold out by somebody who is in the village or in the farm. I think there's a Jedi hiding here, to the Empire. And then an Inquisitor comes. And we don't actually apparently get to see her make her white sabers, which is annoying. But we do see her killing the Inquisitor.
That would be fourth brother in the book.
Yeah. And the farm and everything's on fire.
Oh.
See, that's when I think after that, she'll be seen talking to Bail, saying, now he'll protect her and she'll become a Fulcrum agent, which makes a little more sense, putting it in that order, than starting with Bail, unless we're starting with Bail and doing a flashback into why she came to him.
That doesn't seem to make much sense.
No, but I think at the end she'll go to Bail and be like, hey,
which is
or he'll contact her and she'll protect him. And
it's kind of like the book.
Yeah.
Remotely similar at the very least. It's not like the Kanan, thing is from the comics to what we see in Bad Batch.
They gotta stop telling us books and comics are canon if they're gonna retcon on that every
canon
turn.
Until they don't want them to be and want to do something else with them. That's kind
until
of how
Dave Filoni wants to write a story, and then whatever he says is canon.
Well, part of me wants to say that's good. Part of me wants to say that's bad.
Well, there's even a conflict now with Count Dooku coming up, because there was Dooku Jedi Lost, and people are saying that with the leaks that I'm about to talk about the Dooku type episodes, mess the timeline up. They say that Dooku was a master before he trained Qui-Gon, but this makes it sound like Dooku will not be a master when he's training Qui-Gon.
Interesting.
Right. All right, so let's move into the Dooku Qui-Gon episodes. After the recent death of a Jedi Master named Katari, Dooku and Mace go to her place of death, where they are welcomed by the locals. After going full Sherlock Holmes and examining the body, they figure out it was the townspeople who killed her. Dooku starts to freak out, but Mace tells him to calm down and suggests they follow the Council's orders, secure the body, and go to Coruscant. But Dooku wants to find out more. That was the reason Mace got the rank of Master and Dooku didn't, which started their rivalry and planted seeds of Dooku's hatred towards the Council. Mace was like, nah, man, we were told to go back, and we're going to go back and follow the Council's wisdom. And Dooku's like, no, we need to figure this out. Why did they kill her? Maybe
we will not exceed our mandate.
Well, they apparently didn't, and Dooku was upset, and Mace got promoted.
Isn't that how it always works?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
You don't even know what to say. I know.
I know. This one's I'm kind of excited to get a Dooku, Mace Windu, Qui-Gon Jinn-esque story in the past. Sounds cool. But again, it does get frustrating when you read a book and only that's one of the problems with reading the books and the comics is you read them knowing, like I was saying before, they're canon until they're not. They're part of this universe till they're not.
There's a Dave Filoni says whatever I write's canon, and I might borrow from the stuff that supposedly is canon.
Which was what the original. I mean, that was kind of the original idea of when they reset. And granted, we can get into a debate: was the EU ever canon and not? Let's not get into that debate. But they said, when Disney took over, they said everything henceforth is going to be part of a singular canon, and from time to time we may take from the EU. And it seems like what ended up happening is like from time to time the official movie / show / animated series canon, which has not been tampered with. There's been no contradictions there. A movie hasn't contradicted the shows or anything like that. But the books and the comics are just kind of there to pick and choose from if they want to consider what's in them canon or not, or to take like general ideas from them. Like, let's take the character Cobb Vanth, from The Mandalorian. He's in the Aftermath novels, but his story is a little bit different in the books. Or Kanan, his story in the comics is different from what we see, in Bad Batch. And it's just, what is the point of the books and the comics? Because most people read them because they want, not because they're necessarily good in and of themselves always. Sometimes they are, but a lot of people read them because they want to feel like this is part of a larger story, but it's really not, it seems.
All right, let's move on. More details on the Qui-Gon episode in Tales of the Jedi. The Jedi agree to rescue a senator's child, but only agree because the senator himself is a little corrupt, so they want to get a better understanding of him. After the child is rescued, the senator comes out and has a fight with Dooku, and Dooku force chokes him. Qui-Gon then tries to stop Dooku, but Dooku force pushes him away. Eventually, the senator's child comes out and stops Dooku. This is part of his fall to the dark side and more of his mistrust of the council, I guess. Then we know Mace gets the rank of master before him, so he gets all angry about it. In the next episode, he meets Palpatine on Geonosis, who slowly starts to turn him fully to the dark side. Yaddle tracked him there, and Palps forces him to kill her.
Well, that sounds interesting.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit different from Yaddle's original fate, but I kind of like it.
Well, this makes sense, because Yaddle is in episode 1, but not in episode 2.
Yeah.
Because Dooku kills her between the 2 episodes.
Yeah. Like I said, a little different from her fate in the EU, but I don't know. That sounds interesting. We could have probably used a different Jedi to track him down, but it'll be kind of cool to see Yaddle versus Dooku. I mean, Dooku's got some experience
fighting
fighting
who wins.
Well, I know. Dooku's got some experience fighting the Yoda species, going into his big fight. I mean, he's also trained by him, so if anybody's going to take down Yaddle and go toe-to-toe with Yoda, I guess Dooku is the man. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see, I guess. All right. Well,
I'm sorry. I'm still upset that these all came out anyway.
Well, yeah. Well, we could have tried to avoid them, but we didn't. And neither did you listening to this now.
People who are listening who want to hear this.
It's interesting.
Just because I don't want to hear it doesn't mean other people don't want to hear it.
Sure.
I'm hoping they're all wrong and that this whole video was a waste of time.
I think everything is pretty accurate. I bet you the Acolyte rumors sound pretty accurate. These sound extremely accurate given what we've already kind of seen and heard before. But so
I hate when you get leaks and then you're like, these leaks sound really good, and then you get to the show and you're like, this is all wrong.
I don't hate that because then it's a surprise and you're expecting something to happen.
Right, but what if you get really hyped up in one direction? And you're like, the Acolyte sounds amazing this way. And then you get to the show and you're like, this isn't at all like what I thought it would be.
Well, I don't know. Sometimes it goes both ways. Sometimes you're like, oh, this sounds terrible. Sometimes it sounds good.
The Acolyte's not even supposed to come out till apparently February 2024. So it's really early to be getting leaks like this. I mean, I wish that they could somehow put a better latch on this information.
Well, they try to. It's so hard in this day and age of the internet, and
because everyone
it just takes one person.
Get some clout by sharing all this.
Well, yeah, I mean, just look at. I mean, I'm assuming that when it comes to the Tales of the Jedi leaks, they're they were sent overseas or sent to somewhere to get them translated. They're not going to have the same type of security Lucasfilm necessarily is. It just takes one person working on it to watch a couple-minute video about what the series is or what the show is, and then they go online and be like, hey, I saw it, and risk their job and everything else, I'm sure, but it doesn't take much.
No.
Not in this day and age. It takes one person anywhere in the world to learn it and get the information, and then they can easily get it out there. Well, I guess that's all we've got for you this time. So take to the comments below if you listen to these leaks and rumors. Tell us what you thought of them, and let's talk some Star Wars. And until next time, thanks for watching.